What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about LCX token today, LCX exchange token. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, my friends, and let's get into it, okay? 24 cents right now. We got a nice bull flag going on over here. Beyond all that, and of course I do expect it does lead to a phenomenal breakout, which likely takes us above $1 in price, right? We're at 23 cents now, so 24 cents. That's definitely immaculate growth that we should be expecting. But beyond all that, we've been held down by this range here, finding resistance for, since February 2024 for about a year now. I would assume when we break above this, we don't stop right above it, right? We probably clear it to some degree. And again, to me, it would make sense to go to $1, if not higher, just by way of this measure move alone, right? If this were a bull flag, and I think it is, if you were to measure it, the measure move would be as follows, which would take you all the way up to about, technically, quite literally $1, actually. Quite literally, like perfectly, just under $1, in fact, something like that. From the current price, that would be something of about, I don't know, come on, come, of about a 4x in growth. I want to tell you why I think we will go further on this next move up. I think that this move will be bigger from a low to a high than this move was, right? I have two reasons for it, okay? One, the RSI is in a more bullish posturing here than it was here. Bouncing off the oversold zone and coming all the way up, that's nice. That's a bullish move in itself. But this gets you set up for a lot higher prices. Let's just see, for example, right? You weren't oversold down here, but you did run all the way up here. I would bet this move here, well, it actually had a lower reading in the RSI. Still though, I wonder if this move was bigger. Let's see. It was bigger, right? You can see. While this move was nice, I mean, from a low to a high, you were consolidating. I would say your move, we can take it from this low here. I would say your move is 541. We can take it from that low if you want, but you were consolidating. I would say the move itself was really more like probably a 500% move, 427% move. That was 721 from the low. From this low here, if we're doing it that way, that's 1200%. If we're actually measuring the move itself, which I think would be more appropriate, it's about 784. The move itself here is about 406. All I'm trying to say, and this one didn't even get as high of a reading in the RSI, but it bounced. You got overbought. You bounced off the 50, and you got overbought again. This posturing where you start from stronger readings, it allows for things to get going at a faster rate, right? Like down here, before you got overbought, down here you were figuring things out. You were moving up. You were at your low and you were moving up slowly, but in that phase where you're moving up slowly, figuring things out, you're just consolidating, okay? Here, you're at the 50, you've kind of already figured things out. You're ready to move up higher. You're going to move up in a stronger kind of fashion. That's how I think of it. I don't know. It's not always that cut and dry. Essentially, all I'm saying is more bullish posturing this time around than we had last time around would make me assume that we see a stronger move. Not only that, but no offense, 80 is nice, and 80 read on the RSI is nice, but I think we can see more than that, right? And in fact, if we put a line right there at that level in the RSI, and right, this is for LCX weekly time frame, you can see that every single time in this thing's history, when we've interacted with the overbought zone, you peak above this line, except for once. Except for one time, every other time you peaked above it. My assumption would then be that we likely peak above it on this next attempt, right? I think we will. So if we're starting from a more bullish posturing, which we did over here, and we had a lower high, but we're anticipating starting from the same area, more bullish posturing, but getting a higher high, and this move showed a bigger move, I'm just saying it's no hard conclusion to make that from a low to high, if this was our last move, and that would take us to $1, that we would likely see a stronger move than what we're experiencing now. And I could have gone, I could have done without that whole little detour and that whole little side, I don't know, the intervention of explaining that. I could have just told you that if we took this move here, this measure move, and we saw $1, if we took the all-time high from last cycle to the low of the cycle, and then we just projected out from this measure move to the next target area that would make sense, we could have saved ourselves a lot of time and be like, oh, it's just at $1.30. Why does that make sense? Why does it have to go to $1.30? Because this was your prior cycle's high to low. You found significance on your 886 twice now, okay? Going from your 886 to your 382, that's a very common thing to do. 886 to your 618, now you're showing some bullish structure. When you break above it, you're not stopping. It's possible, however unlikely, it's much more common that you don't stop until you hit your minimum expected zone, which would be $1.30. And it makes sense that being that we expect this next move to be stronger than the last move, which is where this measurement would take us if it was the exact same strength as the last move, it would make sense that if this move was stronger, that the minimum target could be about $1.30, which from the current price of about 24 cents now would take us up a grand total of about 441%, which is a 5.4x, okay? $200 in a month's time will be worth $1,000. $1,000 in a month's time, $5,000, right? You get the point. $5,400 technically, right? At a minimum is kind of my expectation, right? I don't think it has to stop there. That's the thing. It can, and I kind of do expect it does stop there. I personally do think that LCX stops at about $1.30. I bought some tokens recently. I've got some tokens that I plan to hold for the long term that are cycle ending things that I think are going to go way higher, like off the charts, literally potentially all the way up to like $100. Probably not $100, just kidding. $25, $71, something like that by the end of the cycle. Somewhere in that area, and we'll make sense out of that in a second. Okay, I know you're hearing that. You're like, what? We'll get into that in a second. Okay, but I've got a stash held for that, and then I've got a stash that I bought recently. I bought it about 22.4 cents, or maybe it was 22.64 cents. I can't remember. That I fully intend on selling at $1.30. Now it could go higher. I'm prepared for that. But the purpose of what my purchase that I made here, and I announced it whenever I made the purchase, I'm going to announce it here. It was a short-term position. I'm not trying to squeeze this thing for everything that I can get out of it. I want most of the move. I'm going to get out, and then I'll reallocate to something else. I'll take profits. I'll use some of that in my real life, and then I'll put the rest of that stuff in other investments and stuff and let that grow as well, right? That's what I do with my shorter-term moves. And I don't normally talk about the shorter-term stuff, but I've been a little bit, I feel like some people have asked for it, so and it's been somewhat positively received. Other than, I feel like this token, other than the John McAfee token and the Melania token, I don't think that those short-term plays have really bit anybody on the ass, but those two specifically, actually Aintai and Melania, those are kind of reasons why I might not do short-term plays like this anymore, because this is my expectation. This is what I want to do. But what if other people watch this video and they buy thinking they can do the same thing? But then it doesn't go up to $1.30. It only goes to 80 cents. But I see the turnaround point, so I decide to sell here. And by the time I make a video, it's at 45 cents or 40 cents. And then you're left thinking it's all the way up here. By the time I make a video, I'm telling you that I think it's going to sell down here, or it's going to go lower. You know, I don't want to confuse anybody with that. I feel like I'm already being confusing right now. All I'm trying to say is I have a hard time with these short-term play videos. I have a hard time making them because I don't want people getting screwed, but I'm making one now. And my expectation is, because this is a short-term play, I think that it's going to end, or I'm going to be selling at $1.30. That's what I expect to do. So being at 23 cents now, 24 cents now, I fully expect that we will see prices at $1.30 and beyond, likely over the next month and a half. Oh, my daughter's crying, so I'll be right back. Hold on, y'all. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry, not sorry. She's 2. I got to do that, you know. What I want to talk about before I end the video is where I think the price will be by the end of the cycle. Okay. I was so close to doing that. I wanted to end the video right there, but I didn't want to leave anybody hanging on the notion when I was talking about prices that are worth several dollars higher, right? We go from the cycle high in 2021, November, to the cycle low in December of 2022. When we project out, most coins, most altcoins, they don't stop in their 1272 to 1618 areas. I'm not saying it can't happen. It could happen, but likely this is not where you stop. Likely you go higher. So automatically, if you're not stopping in the primary target zone, we identify the next target zone as the 1886 to the 2618. That's the next target zone, the secondary target zone in these fib extensions, okay? You break above 364, you have access automatically to this area up here, okay? Now, what I want to do is I want to look at this thing on CoinGecko. Let's type in LCX. And we'll gauge the market cap. First and foremost, LCX, by the way, you guys, has been in existence since 2020? No, 2019. Yeah, 2019. So it's been around for a full bull cycle already. Coins like this, I think, are capable of seeing $100 billion market cap. Now, I don't think it will. I personally don't think LCX sees a $100 billion market cap by the end of the cycle. I just think it's capable. You don't see coins seeing readings at $100 billion or more in their first cycles, typically. The only coins that get to those levels have seen multiple cycles, right? Dogecoin experienced its 3rd cycle, I'm pretty sure, last cycle. If not, it was its 2nd cycle last cycle. I can't remember. Must have been it would have been, let me think. I'm actually kind of curious here. Hold on. All I'm trying to say is it was multiple cycles and it still didn't see $100 billion last cycle. 1, 2, I guess. Ass end of 1 cycle here, but 2 cycles to be completely fair. And it didn't even see $100 billion last cycle. That's all I'm trying to say. And that was the Elon Musk coin. So LCX, it's capable of $100 billion, but I doubt it sees $100 billion. Okay, now that we've established that, you're at 223 million. A 10x from here would be 2.2 billion. 100x would be 22.3 billion. A 100x would be 22.3 billion. Now that is a very achievable market cap. 22 billion. I think we could achieve that. That would put this thing at about a $23 price. At $22 billion, okay? $23 price is all the way up here at the 2272. That's a legible area. And in fact, a lot of cryptos top at their 2272s. Bitcoin loves its 2272 whenever it comes to cycle ending dynamics. It really does. But that's a nice area. And being at 22 billion, that's not a small market cap by any means, but it is a very attainable market cap to achieve, especially for a coin that's been around for multiple cycles. So making sense out of that makes sense to me. Certainly prices around $8 to $11 makes sense. I think pessimistically we could think 364 or lower, but I don't think that's to be considered. Truthfully, I think we're talking double digits or more, right? 2 figures or more, $10 and above, likely 25 or more is what I would genuinely expect. Now let's make sense out of $71, if it's possible. Let's see. So that would be approximately a 300x. A 300x. So 100x, which that would make sense, right? If 100x is about $24, 300x would be about $72. Actually, that actually makes sense entirely. So 300x from here would be about a $70 billion market cap. Now, a $70 billion market cap is a lot higher than 22, 23 billion, but it's still very attainable. It is a completely attainable market cap, and that does hit the upper limits, I would think. I would think once you get to 80, we're starting to push it, okay? 80 billion and beyond, we're starting to push it. Now, of course, this token could see 100 billion and beyond. I give it the go-ahead that it could because it's been around for multiple cycles. I just don't think it does because it's at such a low market cap now. To see 100 billion or more by the end of the cycle, it would have to see a lot of, it would have to see some phenomenal growth from here. I'm not saying it's impossible, but if we wanted to talk about a $100 billion market cap, you'd have to be above 370 before April. You know what I mean? We'd have to see some immaculate growth from you in a very short amount of time. Not that it's incapable, but we don't have that on the charts to suggest that just yet, right? At this point, I'm much more under the impression that being at 24 cents here, a $25 to a $71 price is what's more likely to happen. So I don't know. That just making sense out of that. I hope that makes sense. If that doesn't make sense to you, I don't know how to make any other sense out of it other than just saying I'm deriving this from the fib ranges that are literally based off of the cycle high to cycle low from last cycle, and then we're basing those targets, comparing it to the market cap here, and then using my experience, being that this is my third bull market. I've been doing technical analysis for 8 years, using my experience back against this to tell you what I see as a quote unquote acceptable expectation, right? If this coin is to be a quote unquote top performer, if it's to do well for itself, we could see a $25 to $71 price. If it doesn't do well for itself, maybe $8 to $11. And if it's absolutely dog crap, we're not even going to break 364. But I think we will break 364. We're postured in a very bullish posturing right now. I think we're going to rip here pretty soon, and I actually fully expect LCX will outperform most of the market on this next move. If that all sounds good to you, hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. If the question comes to mind, is it too late to buy LCX? Is it a good time to buy LCX? The answer is, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. But, I mean, I bought some like 2 days ago. It wasn't even 2 cents from where it is now. So if that tells you what I think it's at a fine price to buy. If I didn't buy 2 days ago, I would feel fine buying now. It's at 24 cents. If I think it's going to go to prices above $1, I suppose I would think it's a fine time to buy as long as we're below 50 cents. At that rate, probably just below all-time highs. As long as we're below all-time highs, I think it's fine to buy. 50 cents even technically, but I think our all-time highs are a little bit below that. Oh, they're a little bit above that, 61 cents. So as long as we're below all-time highs, I suppose it's a good time to buy. Not financial advice, just my opinion. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.